We're in Spark Hill, New York at the Union Arts Center, and shout out to Yashar Yazlowitz for all the tech stuff around this. We're talking about unusual pedal techniques, and I'd like to focus on a technique that I call surgical pedaling. Instead of taking something all or nothing, like a big block of this, or not having that big block, we're actually going to use a very precise tool and sculpt out little bits of that block to pick and choose what we want. We're going to focus on the shift pedal, and that's what I call the left pedal or the soft pedal. So most people associate the left pedal with soft and loud, and so if you want to play soft, you put it down. You want to play louder, you pull it up. In fact, it doesn't really work that way, even though composers over the last 200 years have treated it as such, and they will write a whole passage, Debussy, Clair de Lune, for example, at the beginning it says con sordino, which means that basically the whole piece is to be played with the left pedal down and creating this kind of hazy effect. Well, I feel like that's choosing to paint either in blue or either in red, as opposed to painting in blue and red. The way the shift pedal works is it literally shifts the keyboard, it shifts the hammers so that the hammer head is hitting the strings at different places. The usual spot where the shift pedal is up and not engaged, that usual spot the hammers get played a lot, and so therefore the hammer actually creates grooves where the strings hit, which is where the felt is the most compact. It's very dense, very hard, it's a very focused sound, and as soon as you shift off of that, then we start getting into different kinds of colors. Especially when you position the shift pedal so that the hammer hits right in between the grooves, that's the softest part of the hammer. And that's like the difference between playing a drum with a metal stick or playing it with a wooden mallet that has cotton and a leather skin around it. There's very different sounds. Both of those sounds are contained within the head of the felt hammer. And in fact, it's not just two sounds, but there are actually many different gradations and different types of sound that can happen on a piano that's regulated for that. And I've counted up to 7 different colors on certain pianos that I've played. And the key then is to be able to choose which one by being able to position the pedal at the right position for the right kind of sound. For this demonstration, we're just going to use the idea of 2 different colors, very basic. All pianos, no matter how they're regulated, generally can have 2 sounds, 2 different kinds of colors with the shift pedal. So we'll just use that basic tool. And this is Chopin's Etude Opus 25, number 1, which is an etude of harmonics, of arpeggios, and how to voice a melody above a rippling accompaniment. I'd like to treat this as a pedal etude and how to use the shift pedal to do surgical pedaling. So this is how the piece goes. So basically a melody floating above a rippling arpeggio figure. That was with the shift pedal down, engaged so that the soft part of the hammer was hitting, and you heard this very mellow, kind of rounded, hazy kind of sound. I'll play the same passage with no shift pedal engaged, and you can hear on this piano what the color difference is. So you hear the sound is louder, and it's much more focused kind of sound. I'm using the right pedal to blur the harmonies together, but the attacks of the notes are still very clear when you don't have the shift pedal down. And my question then is, why should we have to choose between all or nothing? All shift pedal up or all shift pedal down? Why not surgically bring out certain elements of it, use the pedal and the two different colors to create two different layers of things that are actually happening at the same time. And the natural choice in this particular case would be then for the melody to be played with a very clear and clean stick. And the harmony to be played with a soft mallet or a brush or some kind of thing that diffuses a sound. And combining those two means doing surgical pedaling, which is a very precise use of the shift pedal. And watch my feet and how the pedal lifts up just before I play the melody note and immediately goes down as soon as I've played that note. What this allows me to do, first of all, is the melody comes out very naturally because it's a clear sound and because it's a little bit louder. I don't have to play it louder, it just naturally comes out louder. And so therefore, it really is a voice that floats above the harmonies because that's how the color is actually being used. Second, kind of a corollary to that is because the separation of these two layers is happening through color, we no longer have to emphasize that difference with other spectrums, one of which is dynamics, which means that the melody can be played not just from the mezzo piano to forte range, it can go all the way down to piano or pianissimo to forte range, which allows you a much wider space to create that arc of expression, the arc of shaping for that melody, not just squeezed up into the top middle register of the dynamic range. That gives you a lot more possibilities, it gives you a lot more freedom, it gives you a lot more kind of natural, a natural sense of shaping the melody without having to worry about voicing. You'll see that the left pedal is moving very quickly, which means that you're going to have to ask your piano technician to make sure that the piano shifts very cleanly, without sound, without squeaking. It's a very different use of the shift pedal than what most people do, where they put it down for a whole section. And the mechanism doesn't actually have to work that well for that kind of traditional use. It does have to work very, very well. It has to be well not oiled, but it has to, the friction has to be very minimal. The spring has to be very quiet, and the pedal itself has to be very well regulated. And so this is something for pianists to ask their technicians to do to regulate that shift pedal well. Thanks a lot.